Hello and welcome to episode 81 of Flesh and Pod. My name is Logan. I am your host, and with me, as always, is the Lord Commander of the Knights Penitent, Darick Oswald. Darick, what did you get? You know what?
Listen, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day,
start with
Darick.
that. We are recording this on Father's Day. I know that the listeners won't hear it until after, but happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, and happy pre-Juneteenth, which is tomorrow. And you'll be getting this on 6/20, which is of no real repute. So
far.
Yet. God, it's terrifying. Did you do anything in Flesh and Blood, or is this just your normal Abby Kennedy impression?
You know what? I had something prepared, but I actually like the Abby Kennedy impression way better. So I'm going to go with I am not doing anything in Flesh and Blood this week, but I did get to pet a possum.
All right. Okay, can we rewind just a little bit here?
Sure.
Why were you petting possums?
Because I'm Abby Kennedy. I thought we were just committing to the bit.
See, this is the problem with you. I honest to fuck believed you were petting possums.
That's because the reality is you don't know. I probably did.
Yeah,
it's not outside for me.
Right, it's not out of the realm of possibility that you're out there petting possums.
So, like, this is what's wonderful about me is that I can say just about anything with a straight face, but I'm also capable of anything with a straight face. So, like, it is not out of the realm. While I was not petting possums this week, there have been plenty of times in my life where I was just like randomly petting a monitor lizard because nobody else would do it. And
I love monitor lizards, though.
Yeah, right?
They're
way better than keyboard lizards. They actually show you something.
Yeah, a little bit here and there, at least. I mean, sometimes the brightness is off and the colors are a little wonky, but at the end of the day, at least you can still see it.
Yeah, I prefer my lizards in 1080p minimum.
I'm a 4K lizard guy.
Yeah, I figured that you were a bit snooty.
Yeah, a little bit. I was at the zoo today, the Omaha Zoo, which is a great zoo. And they do have a couple of fuck off big monitor lizards hanging out in that zoo. So I did get to see some monitor lizard today. I actually did play in 2 armories. This week. Yeah.
Did you this is gonna sound like a weird question. Did you beat any players that are older than you?
Oof. I don't think I played any players that were older than me.
Well, all that matters is that you didn't beat them, which means Flake is a liar. We do not beat the elderly.
We do not beat the elderly. You're right. Right.
Podcast. Slander.
That's pure, unadulterated fucking slander. Anything you hear coming out of Flake's mouth that sounds like it's coming out of our mouths The truth
is that they're lies.
The truth is that it's folks news. And
I just wanted to say true lies for Flake.
You want to say true lies for Flake?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So the Flake slander happened. I appreciate the bit. I really do, because it was well done. And Tommy, the Tommy bits, Tommy and the Brendan bits were gas. Obviously he got me in there cursing up a storm because that's what I do. I get that's my brand. You were insulting your own proclivities in bedroom situations. And so he got us a little bit, and I guess we're going to be the target of the ridicule going forward at times, which is acceptable. We have slandered Flake a lot on this show. So
I have never once slandered him. I only say positive things. Did you know he is a published author? That is something to celebrate.
He is the published author of The Stoic. Yes. If you are wondering what that book cover looks like, you can go to Bryn from the Banished Zone's Twitter. She did post an image of the cover just for confirmation's sake. It is out there in the wild. Also give Bryn a follow because Bryn's great. But I guess the slander rarely came from either of the two of us. It was really a Kennedy thing. So since then, we have definitely become a warmer and fuzzier show for fuzzier.
There's one thing I know. It's that you can't trust the Kennedys. That's why that scientist should not debate RFK Jr.
God fucking damn it. Why are we in current events?
Because we're that far off the rails. We haven't even got to the first topic.
Matter.
This is what happens when I get sent to the beach all day. I come back refreshed and ready to go, and that means way off the rails.
Yeah, I got to hang out. Like, I was looking at the gorillas and wondering how I got there. You know, how do I get their life?
You were just preparing for the podcast.
Really, it was. Yeah, that was a lot of it. Was just podcast prep, watching gorillas, pick their noses and eat it, and discover peanut butter on boards, and then actually just sit there and just kind of stare down, zoo goers, because they were just like, yeah, fuck this guy. And then one of them decided just to kind of was being. You know how when gorillas get playful, they show their lips and they start doing goofy shit. One of them started doing the goofy shit and showing their lips, like, okay, you are hamming up for this audience. I approve. You are the me of gorillas, but which is just the same thing as a gorilla. Okay, we're gonna just not do that. Yeah, I did play Flesh and Blood. I did 2 armories. Both of them were Monarch Draft. Both were fine, I guess. There's really nothing to write home about. It's Monarch Draft. We've all kind of been there a little bit. So nothing to really report.
Some folks have not been there, which is why I'm excited for the upcoming events.
Yeah, I'm interested in, I think that as I kind of think through Monarch Draft a little bit more, I was very happy that I did not make the 90-day XP cutoff. Because if I had just randomly been qualified for nationals on that, I probably would have tried to do something stupid like fly into Vegas and then on Friday play day 1 of nationals. And, if I scrub out, I just hop on the airplane and go to New Orleans and go to the wedding. And if I was XO and I was in a good seat to say, hey, sorry, buddy, I'm not going to make your wedding. I'm just going to keep playing this event. I probably would have done something stupid like that. I missed by like 6 points. So if I would have played one more RTN, I probably would have made the cut and I would have done something stupid. So very happy that I did not make it. That was a good little bit of news, but I obviously checked. But if you are wondering if you made it, the invited player list is up for nationals. It's there. But I think it's interesting with Monarch Drafts particularly because it seems to be one that rewards you a little bit more for knowing which cards are taken out of the pack early. So if you get your print runs, not memorized, but sort of in your head of what could be missing, that informs a lot. Because if you kind of get the gist that you're one of like 2 prisms at a table, your draft's probably going pretty goddamn well.
I mean, I was just going to say that your draft is just pick the big one.
A lot of times that is the draft. It is
I know the biggest thing. Very reductive, but for the folks who maybe have not drafted Monarch before, and like I said, there are going to be some. In fact, I think I saw a Reddit post today again of just a new player saying like, I don't know why I didn't find this game sooner, right? Like we're still getting people rolling in, they're finding the game for the first time. So if you are somebody who didn't get the opportunity to play during the Monarch release or play any of those limited events, and you want the fast advice, the crash course of tips, pick the big one. If it's got a big attack number, you're probably safe taking it because it either means you are playing Prism or you're preparing against Prism, and you're safe in either way.
One caveat: make sure it has this thing called a block value in the bottom right corner, because if it doesn't pop heralds.
Yeah, you have to be able to assign it as a block.
To be able to block it.
Are there any in Monarch that don't have the block value though?
Several.
Really?
There's a couple of different Levia cards that don't. Pulping doesn't. Pulping. There are definitely ones that do. Stony Wootenhog is still your friend.
Yeah.
Like that is, and obviously if you see a Nourishing Emptiness, yeah, probably best card. Like honestly, you see a Nourishing Emptiness, it is great. We love one of those, but that's a Majestic, so
right,
not great.
Yeah,
I mean, not easy to find.
I always forget Pulping is in Monarch because it always feels like a Welcome to Wrath card to me for some reason,
or a crew card. Honestly,
yeah,
like either of those 2 sets, it would make sense in, but not a Monarch card.
So yeah, it has to have a block value because you have to be able to assign it as a blocker. But otherwise, you're probably safe picking the big one.
Yeah, playing Levia is a lot of pants off, dance off type shit because you at some point in time probably need to turn off your blood debt, and you better hope like hell you can. Otherwise, you're going to done diddly die, and that's not great. You shouldn't want to do that. Chain, it's difficult just because you have to manage your soul shackles, and that is its own little in game. If
it
you
just
don't,
different.
yeah,
So
sure.
here's my quick tip for chain is that if you are playing limited and you are unsure whether or not you
let me reset.
All right. So if you're playing chain and you are unsure if you should soul shackle, we made it. It's really just like, do you need the go again? It's not like constructed chain where you're just trying to ramp up to as many shackles as possible so you get like the 7 card hand. It's legitimately 9 times out of 10, do I need the go again? And if not, like you just don't soul shackle because your critical mass of stuff that you can play out of blood debt is just not there usually in limited, unless you end up like the only chain at the table, which every now and then happens. But your like basic tips are the soul shackle is a situational extra source of go again, and if you don't need it, then you probably don't
do it. Yeah, very, very true. Also a spell void is your friend because getting killed by those little last pieces of arcane from chain is not interesting at all. Bolton is probably the hardest one to draft just because you need so many instances of charge for him to even work.
I'm convinced you can be the only Bolton at the table and still not play it.
It's possible. If you don't see a Battlefield Blitz or a V for the Vanguard or something that's just sort of an overcard,
yeah, V is the one that I usually like. If I get a V, then I consider it. But he's just so hard. He's so card hungry is the problem.
Yeah. Yep. And there's so many if you end up in a spot where in pack 1 you end up with like 2 or 3 take flights, you're probably in a good spot. Like, let's be fair, because take flight is sort of your enabler card for a lot of what it's going to do because it already has go again. You get to charge, it does the things. And then you can kind of express lightning behind it and then have a chance at kind of chaining things together a little bit. And V for the Vanguard is just nutty. It's just a fantastic card. But
yeah, the only other way, and again, it's majestic dependent, right? But the only other way that I would say like you can jam Bolton is if you open a Raiden or somebody passes you a very early one, because
it has to be early.
I think Raiden is good enough in limited where it starts to really shine. The 0 for 3 is pretty consistent to pull off, and when you're not pulling it off, it probably means you got better value out of your turn anyway. But that it's so funny because it's like that's not good enough in constructed 9 times out of 10 because it just means that they slap you with the block 3 and they don't care. But in limited, that kind of consistent 0 for 3 is actually very relevant. So
yeah, no, it really is. That's another thing. Like things like Express Lightning are very good just because there's 0 cost that you can kind of end with. That is again, you kind of feel like you have to block it, and otherwise they start sneaking damage through. So like I said, you can play Bolt. You're right. It's card hungry. Card hungry is a very good way of putting it. The deck needs a lot to function. Whereas you can
pay for the attack and have stuff to charge. And then you usually also need to pay for your weapons, right? Like the hatchets, if you're trying to follow it up. So you're looking at like 3 card hands to have, which doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but like you have to have a 3 card hands to have like a medium turn. And I think that's the problem, right? He's just very card hungry. And so you need your opponent to not pressure you so you can keep those cards in your hand, because if you are blocking with 2 or 3 cards, then your turns just feel bad. Like that's the problem.
Step 1 is to win the dice roll. Like,
yeah,
very honestly, that's step 1 when playing Bolton, is just win the dice roll. But again, I think it's going to be fun to watch a lot of people kind of interact with these. There's going to be a lot of instances because, like, when you're playing Chain as an example, you're not going to wind up with many poppers. So Prism starts to get very hard on you. Like 1 for 7s are unfun, and that can be sort of an issue with how how the 2 decks interact. But Chain can sometimes just go off on pure critical mass, and just win that way. Prism against Leviah gets quite a few 6 powers, and that's because that's what you're gunning for. So that's, has a shot, can actually win those games. Bolton into anything, if you have a good Bolton deck, you have a good Bolton deck and you have a shot. But the hoops to get to a good Bolton deck are much, much, much harder to jump through than the other 3 heroes. So that's kind of where my thought process on Monarch is, but it doesn't matter to me because I don't have to play. I'm not playing in Nationals, so whatever. I'm not bitter. Okay, maybe I'm a little bitter. So we did get some more Dusk Till Dawn spoilers and quite a bit of info while we were at it, which is great. We wound up with, I think we have a new competitor has entered the ring for potentially the best of the cycle of Unity cards. So we've got our friend Lexi's Unity card.
Yeah, it's kind of nutty.
For those of you who have been like, God fucking damn it, I'm sick of Lexi. My apologies. For those of you sitting on like a couple of extra copies of Cold Foiled Shock Charmers, congrats. But so this is a yellow, which is, par for the course, I guess, because they had to make it kind of suck at some point.
Well, I also just feel like it's supposed to be the lightning themed one. So the same way that Old Hymns was also a blue because he's the ice themed. Yellow was kind of like unofficially the lightning themed color of Tales of Aria, which is why the channel for lightning was yellow.
It was yellow, sure. And then Earth was red because of Briar. And then, okay. So this one is Call Down the Lightning. It is a 0 cost yellow pitch lightning action. Lexi specialization. That is important because it's a Shiana card.
Great Shiana card.
Oh, this is an insane Shiana card. This one just reads, your attacks this turn get whenever the defending hero adds 1 or more defending cards from hand to this chain link. This deals 1 damage to them. Go again.
So even before we get to the Unity text, this is playable.
Yep, sure is.
Doesn't even need Unity.
So right now, Lexi is largely playing as a fuseless deck. This wants you to fuse. This wants a Chilling Ice Vein to come in, because then it's like block still has the Ice Vein effect. Same thing with things like Frazzle. I think it's Frazzle, not Buzzbolt, that is the damage, not the on hit. One of them is damage, one of them is on hit, and then that triggers. I mean, basically, it is it's if you block, this card is Ball Lightning.
Yeah, Frazzle is the damage one. Yeah, Frazzle is fused. And here's the fun part. Like, that card could also be used to fuse Frazzle, but if Frazzle is fused, whenever an attack would deal damage this turn, instead it deals that much damage +1.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man, it's a good thing Ball Lightning's banned.
Good thing Ball Lightning's banned. Be problematic. The unity on this one is when this defends together with a card from hand, create an embodiment of lightning token under any number of heroes' control. Now, if you are familiar with embodiment of lightning, that can just stick around. So you can just, block with 2 cards or block with 4, block with your hand and get an embodiment of lightning, or 2 sometimes. Although 2 is irrelevant, but you can just, get an embodiment of lightning and have it, then pass your next turn. The embodiment sticks until you blow it.
Yeah, you could 3-card block, and then your turn could be Arsenal Pass, and then set yourself up for an embodiment, 5-card hand or whatever.
Right, which is okay. Yeah, it seems fine. We might be arriving in the Lexi portion of the show where that deck actually blocks every now and again. But the floor of this card is basically get an embodiment of lightning. The ceiling of this card on those go wide 3 of a kind, go fuck yourself Lexi turns is block, I dare you. So That seems really good. I don't know. I kind of want to put this at the top, but it has to be. Lexi has to change how they're playing right now in order to really get everything out of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really like interesting. There's some really interesting things. So like Chilling Ice Vein stands out, but Blizzard Bolt also means you're getting a frostbite for every card that's blocked. Or used to block, I guess I should say. That seems pretty good.
Well, I mean, you can block with 3 cards, and it's only one instance because the whenever is 1 or more. So but if you have to block 2 separate attacks, that's a problem. But if you're already committed to blocking out that turn regardless, the frostbite stop mattering. The Chilling Ice Vein effect is a pain in the ass, though.
I think so like when I was thinking about, well, Chilling Ice Vein is a pain, but honestly, like by the time you've already set up that Chilling Ice Vein and this card, it's not that much more of a pain because you're just losing your whole hand anyway, right? Like they're just going to figure out the best way to mitigate it. So in my mind, it really comes down to like, what's the most way you can push damage with this? And so the card that I kept thinking to that has just like not existed since the very, very early days of Lexi is Ice Storm. The dual fuse. And the reason that I thought about it was because this is a lightning action. It can be used as part of the fuse, right? So like if you have a hand where it's like Ice Storm, your Frost card, you know, it doesn't even matter at that point. Like your Ice Storm is going to set up so that it's dealing the bonus damage, and then on top of it, the new specialization is dealing the bonus damage. Like that's kind of a really, like, it's weird because Lexi's known for the go wide turns, but like that sets you up for a very big like go tall turn out of her.
Yeah, it does. Which is also interesting. Like shifting, like the deck being able to shift gears is really good. To be able to just be like wide, tall, you know, that shifts the axis of the game a bit. So I can see that being very interesting. I think so. Now we can sort of officially rank these as we see them. My rankings, I think, is still Anthem of Spring 1 and Starstruck, 1B. Like basically those two are just right there. Probably then Call Down the Lightning, followed by Alluring Inducement, Northern Winds, and then Chorus of Iron Song.
Until we know what a Courage token does.
That can shift all of this. And the reason we know that is that another card we got to see is called United We Stand. So United We Stand is a 6 attack, 3 costs, so kind of shit as far as that goes.
Unless you're Bravo.
That's your Bravo. Attacks for 2, or blocks for 2, sorry. So, but it does have like super unity, I guess. I don't even know what to call this, but it's unity. When this defends together with a card from hand, if Bolton is in your party, we're going to come back to that. Create a Courage token under his control. Under his control?
Yeah, whoever the Bolton player is.
Whoever the Bolton player is. Then repeat for Bravo and Seismic Surge, Briar and Embodiment of Earth, Dorinthian Courage, Lexian Embodiment of Lightning, Oldham and Spellbane Aegis, Prism and Spectral Shield, and Shiana and Eloquence. So this is a PvE card.
Yep.
And clearly there is also a party mechanic that exists for PvE, because it does reference a party, and then these do not go under... well, I guess technically if you're the Bolton and you're playing this, you would get the Courage.
Yeah, because you're the Bolton player. Same thing with the Prism.
Yeah, and I guess we haven't seen a Bolton specialization, have we?
No, we haven't seen that. We've seen...
So we are missing one.
Yeah,
we have Dorinthia, but we don't have Bolton.
Yeah, so we've seen the like other Bolton cards, but not the Bolton specialization.
Which, if this is just a Bolton set, we're going to get one. It is
interesting, though, that both Bolton and Dorinthia make Courage.
Yes, the Warriors make Courage.
It's interesting because they're the only ones that overlap.
Right, but if you look at this layout of heroes, you have a shapeshifter illusionist, I guess there's two guardians.
I see that. I just think it's interesting that tells me that the courage token is going to be good for both of them somehow, right? Like that's what stands out to me, is that there's some sort of overlap there.
Yeah, but this actually just lets us know that the James White comment about the Avengers of Flesh and Blood, we now know who they are. This is your squad. It's Prism, Shiana, Dorinthia, Bolton, Oldham, Bravo, Briar, Lexi. So the Tails heroes, along with the light heroes from Monarch, plus the Dorinthia and Bravo from WTR, and then Shiana as just Shiana. So I like it. I like the flavor. The flavor is fantastic. If you have not watched the trailer that was put out for this type of thing, for the that was done to show this card off specifically and kind of show the battle and what's happening, you should go watch it.
Yeah,
it might just be the best put together thing that LSS has done so far to promote the game.
I will say this. I love the art. Like, this big piece needs to be a mat or something, right? Maybe it'll end up being like the world's mat or something. I don't know. Because it's like a really cool collective piece. However, on the card itself, they did Bolton dirty.
They did him dirty, baby.
Dude already has a hard enough time in the meta and has a hard enough time like getting respect. And then this beautiful art piece, and they're all like in their big epic battle moment, and you can clearly see Bolton, but the outside border of the card juts out just enough to cover his face.
Cover his eyes, really. It kind of looks like he's PM Dawn. No one's gonna get that reference. Fuck me. But yeah, it's like he's blindfolded, which, I guess. But it is a very cool art piece. Again, it's the art in Flesh and Blood, I know I've said this before, was good to start, but it's just gone to great. Like, the art game just continually gets stepped up and is better and better and better and better with every set. So I feel like this is incredible. I do think that Bravo's fist could be bigger, but that just might be a dream of mine. We also got the Bannerettes, which are a series of attacks.
Are you sure that's not like a Motown group?
It is now. Yeah.
The Bannerettes?
It's the Bannerettes. Yeah, it's Bolton and the Bannerettes. So there are 6 Bannerettes we've been made privy to. There's the Banneret of Courage, Banneret of Gallantry, Banneret of Protection, Banneret of Resilience, Banneret of Salvation, and the Banneret of Vigor. They all just have a different Soul Flare ability attached to them. So Soul Flare is when this is charged to your hero soul. So this is the card that goes into your hero soul. Create a X token. So like Banneret of Courage creates the aforementioned Courage token that we don't know what it does. The Banneret of Resilience, when this is charged to your hero soul, the next action card you defend with this turn gets +1 defense.
Yeah, that one's really interesting to me because
you gotta be able to charge on.
Right. It's very clearly telling us that there's going to be something that warriors can do defensively, or at least Bolton specifically, with the charging.
Mm-hmm. Yep. One of them is the next time you hit the turn, gain a life. Like, sure. That one seems particularly, whatever. The one that gets my attention outside of the Courage one, depending on what a Courage token does, is actually Banneret of Vigor. When this is charged to your hero soul, the next time you hit, gain a resource. That
one is really good for a couple of reasons. Obviously, the resource is important, but also it costs 0 as well. Mm-hmm. The reason that's key is we were talking about how Bolton is card hungry before. To kind of like paint a picture for somebody, if you've never actually tried to pilot Bolton, right? You have to what I called the cost card earlier, but what I really mean by that is the card that you're charging, right? Because all of Bolton's stuff is based on him charging. So it means one of the cards from your hand is going to end up under your hero. So right out of the gate, assuming that happens, you're dealing with three card hands even when you had the 4 to start. Now you might have Arsenal or whatever, but just on average, right? So like you're going to charge a card, so you got 3 cards in your hand. So then if you have to pay for any pitch, now you're down to 2 for whatever is happening. So this Banneret of Vigor, the fact that it costs 0 and potentially gives you a resource means it's a much bigger deal than it looks. So I'm with you. That one stood out to me, and I think the other one that stood out to me was Gallantry because of the Quicken token.
The Quicken token is also a big deal. Yeah. Again, Courage token depends on what that does. But again, if Courage tokens are good, we could have 3 of these that are actually very, very, very playable out of the box. They are all yellow pitch. They're all block 3s. The ones that make tokens are 1-for-4s as far as attacking goes with them, which is not ideal. I don't think you'd ever want to attack with these unless, it's the only thing you have to do. And then the ones that don't make tokens all are 0-for-3s. So they are somewhat on rate cost efficient, specifically for Bolton, I guess. But yeah, this is interesting in a lot of ways.
I'm curious if there is a color cycle of these or if they're only in yellow each.
I think they're all yellow. I don't think there's a cycle of them. The reason I don't think there's a cycle of them is that it's a supplemental set. If we were in a draftable set, I would say that there's a likelihood. But the fact that we're in a supplemental set makes me believe that they're not. Personal opinion. I could be wrong. There's also the dumbest fucking card that we've seen recently. It's called Angelic Wrath. Now, this came out of the July Armory kit. This is the Rainbow Foil promos, extended art promos you can get. Before I go on to my rants, we're just going to go ahead and talk about the Armory kit a little bit. There is the shitty Luminaris, I guess, cold foil, the Celestial Fury cold foil for the set. And then the playmats are the stained glass one, the same one that is in the Vincent kit this month. And then it's also
pretty.
It's gorgeous. And then there's an Aegis Herald of Protection playmat, and that thing also is just incredible. Has zones. It's beautiful.
I'm going to be honest. The art that's on this playmat, it might be enough for me to soften my stance on cops.
No.
Like this art for that playmat and that Herald, that like whatever, is fantastic. Like it's gorgeous art.
It is gorgeous art. It absolutely is. But it's still cops. Now, Angelic Wrath, I got to steel myself a little bit, is a 0 cost instant in Rainbow. Target attack action with Herald in its name gets +4, +3, +2. And it's an instant. Okay. Why does Herald of Erudition need a fucking lightning press?
I mean, better than lightning press?
It's exactly the same as lightning press.
0-for-4?
Isn't red lightning press 0-for-4?
I thought it was a 0-for-3.
It might be 0-for-3, but
I
don't play a lot of lightning press.
I thought it was a 1, 2, 3 card.
That could be. We have the internet.
Let me look this up. Lightning press. Yeah, target attack action card with cost 1 or less is +3. Yeah, I played a lot of Cheerios, Briar. I know it's up. So the 0-for-4 is what stands out. Now, granted, this is technically on something that, can be popped, right? Because it's a Herald card.
But you already know if it was popped or not when you play the fucking thing.
Right. So I was just like, oh, we were just going to give stuff 0-for-4s that allows you to go way over the top. That seems good.
If this was a non-attack action, with just like the target attack action or the next attack action with Herald in this name, you play this turn gets +4, go again. Not up in arms. Right. You can just be like, okay, just popping it. That's fine. This means that it's like, shit, I don't have a popper. Here comes this Herald of Erudition. Throw my entire fridge at it. Can't let this fucking thing hit. And then it's like, and plus for it. Great. Fantastic. Why? Just why? Why do the cops need more ammo? They don't. We should be defunding the police, and here we are, just rearming them.
Now, so like on the other plus side of things, all right, like because it's an instant, it doesn't have a block value. So like this is all gas, no brakes, but it's still a lot of gas.
It's a lot of gas.
And I think the real reason that like I'm shocked is that like the 0 for 4 stood out to me, but the other part that stands out to me is that again, like if you're trying to pack a bunch of yellows like traditionally Prism has, like the yellow is 0 for 3, which is still good enough, right?
Good enough.
But now you have the yellow pitch on top of it. So
yeah,
this feels good. My favorite use for this card, I will be upfront, however, is somebody who, again, my favorite formats are all limited based formats. I can't wait to play Shapeshifter Sealed and get the mask that lets me change the name of my next attack, but also have this and change my next attack to something with Herald in the name, and then to slam down the Angelic Wrath out of nowhere with like Katsu as my hero and just watch people be frazzled.
Stop the damn match. Yeah, you have that mask with like anything that has a crippling on hit, and it's just like, all right, so attack.
Yeah, where is my Guardian Angelic Wrath?
No
block value, but still a 0 for 4, so that I guarantee my crush.
Pummel. You don't need it for 0. You got pummel.
I need more.
You greedy bitch. Yeah, the fact that this dodges poppers in every way, shape, and form just is so fucking annoying. Like, God damn it. Why? Just why?
I can't wait for the future. I can already see it now. There's going to be so many games where I'm just going to say like, all right, there's no way I win this unless their hand is 3 Angelic Heralds and they can't block me. Go. Or Angelic Wraths, I mean. Go.
Just slam it. Fuck it. Like, hopefully that's your hand. If it isn't, well, we're in trouble. But, I mean, that's probably going to happen at some point in time, and you're just going to be like, this is the best. I'm drinking beers out of bottles today because I'm being bougie. But, so this is Serendipity from New Glarus. It's actually it's a cranberry cherry fruited ale, so drinks kind of like a sour, but it's something Flake would actually love. I probably will try to keep some of this for him, but it's delectable. So there's always a red one version of these. It's like just cherries, but there was like a cherry famine in Wisconsin one year, and so they just slammed some cranberries in, and like I guess we call it good, and then it turned out to just be a better beer. So they just make this every year too, or most years, I should say, not every, but yeah, it's delectable, and so that's why we're drinking bougie tonight. That was a quick aside, but that's because we have to go to there was an OP announcement. There's an additional OP information, I guess PP information, Premier Play, this week. It had nothing to do with Worlds, but there is a battle hardened in Portland now that is Team Blitz. So if you're interested in playing Team Blitz, you can go to a battle hardened in Portland, which is kind of cool because there's the west coast of the country has been a little underserved, just generally speaking. And so I like to see the west coast get a little bit of more love here. It's important to make sure that we're growing.
Like Portland. Like I kind of wish I had Portland. An excuse to go to this because I really like Portland.
So that's like my birthday weekend. And my options are going to be go to Riot Fest in Chicago, which that lineup is insane. There's a thing in Minneapolis that weekend called the X-Men Experience. So there's actors dressed up as the X-Men, and you're doing an entire like kind of murder mystery theater type thing with them.
Sure. It's like the Arcane thing I did.
Yeah. Yep. Same thing. Which sounds kind of fun too. Or I can go to Portland and play Kasai. So all of these are on the table for September, but I think I like that the West Coast is getting a little bit more. We had Battle Hard in LA, or this Battle Hard in Los Angeles. There's obviously Worlds was there, but that the less we say about 2022 Worlds, the better. And yeah, I will try to find an excuse to go if I don't feel like I want to do either of the other events, but the odds are that I'll probably want to do the other events because those are kind of in my wheelhouse too. But
yeah,
still no Worlds though.
I'm gonna see if maybe I can con my wife into going, because she loves Portland too.
It's a great town.
And that might be enough of an excuse for me to get to go. Like, I have to get her to buy in on the whole, like, me playing games for part of the trip, but as long as we go on some hikes or whatever, get some voodoo donuts, go to the bookstore, like.
And I have friends in Portland, so I wouldn't mind seeing them. It's been a couple of years, well, pre-COVID, so it's been longer than a couple of years since I saw any of them, so that would be nice to do. Maybe I will do that. Yeah, it'll be touch and go, but who knows? Maybe I will do that, considering I probably will not be flying to Worlds. It's getting to that point where we're about 5 months out, but we're talking about international travel, and that typically this starts scaling up rather rapidly once you're 6 months or closer. So it's starting to get a little bit less likely to do Worlds, unless we hear about it soon. Now, I did make sure that we pointed that out in this episode, and to also make the episode title reference that we don't know where Worlds is. That way we will definitely get the information on Worlds on Tuesday night.
Oh, for sure.
Because that way we just look like idiots.
What'll happen is it'll be announced on Tuesday, and all of our friends are going to be like, hey, did you get the email about card spoilers? Because it's spoiler season coming.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah.
And we'll be like, no, what email are you talking about?
Yep. That's probably going to all be on the same day, isn't it?
Yep.
God, the fuck. All right. I guess. Now you turn me into Eeyore. Man, why you gotta be like that? Why you gotta? You got your fucking Smucker's face on. You piece of shit.
I've been at the beach all day, so like, I'm
son of a bitch. I was at the zoo all day. Like, I love the zoo, but also there was a lore recap on the mothership for. So this was actually super expansive, and I want to make, like, if you are a person that's into lore, I definitely am. Darick loves at least portions of it, the Bravo portions.
And the Uzuri stuff has been fire.
Uzuri stuff, okay. And you go and look at the lore recap. The lore recap is almost the entirety of the lore of Flesh and Blood. So this is tying a lot together for what we know. I get the feeling we're going to find out that while the Solanan Brigade are the Avengers of this, the villains of the story are definitely Solana and the Magisters, because they seem shady as fuck. So we're going to definitely get some cool shit happening here. Basically, it's going to be a whole lot of, the Solanan Avengers are repping S.H.I.E.L.D., and then all of a sudden the Magisters like, yeah, fuck it, Hail Hydra. So that's kind of where I think we're going with this, or like Civil War type stuff, which you're familiar with it from the comics or the movies or whatever, where
or a little bit of infighting history.
Or American history, I guess. Yeah.
I hear it's like next week or whatever.
I thought it got postponed.
Oh yeah,
they're waiting. They're waiting until after the Joe Rogan debate.
Listen, even racists will take a holiday off, so Juneteenth or not, they're not going to start.
Okay, they'll take that they'll. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, all right. I mean, any excuse, right?
Right.
But yeah, there's a ton of interwoven plot, and I think this is my hopes for this set aren't that the cards are something ultra special, although I think they will be, and I'm excited that they are. This is probably the most invested I'm going to be in Flesh and Blood lore in a single set, because it's a lot of story. It's a lot of the hanging threads that are out there. And what is all of this? We find out that Irithal is a actual mirror dimension to Wraith. Like, it exists as a mirror dimension, which is crazy.
Which is crazy, but it's also really cool, because one of the things that I have said for a long time, and I think I've even said it on this podcast in the past, but I think that it would be really cool to see heroes juxtaposed to the way we normally see them. So like a shadow prism, a light chain, etc. Mm-hmm. So if they start with this, like, hey, there's this mirror dimension, like, there's 2 different ways you could do it, right? You could do the story of, like, maybe its prism becomes a shadow illusionist because of some sort of, fall, turn to the dark side. Like, that's obviously an arc you can take. But also, if you just wanted to do it, like, to a bunch of characters in a single set, like, the Bizarro Super Friends would be really cool to do,
Yeah. Bravo's a Guardian, but at the same, you could do, I don't think you would just only touch the light heroes, light and shadow heroes, really. But you could also switch to Draconic and Ice.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you could hit all of those, but that was the other thing that was coming. I was thinking like a Draconic Icelander and like an Ice Fi. I think both of those would be interesting to see. Or you could do the Ice Dromai and make it a bunch of icy dragons. Like, yeah, sure. Kind of gives me nightmares saying it out loud, but that could be fun.
Or you shift the spectrum entirely, where you have Dromai Fi and Icelander are the Arya style heroes, and then you have Draconic Briar, Draconic Lexi. Oldham's always going to be Ice. There's just no two ways.
So actually, it's funny you say that, because I was thinking if you were going to do any of the Arya ones, the way you do it is you just do them as a single element of the opposite end of their triangle. So like Briar,
so Lightning Oldham,
Rune Blade, a Lightning Oldham, and
an Earth Lexi,
Yeah,
that'd be interesting too. I could go with that. So I think that opens up a whole lot of design space. It opens up some interesting hero concepts. That is such a cool little wrinkle, and it's just a little piece of this entire lore article that they dropped with all kinds of crazy shit in it. So give it a look if you're into that type of stuff. Like I said, I certainly am. I really love the fact I'm really into card games that go beyond being just a card game. The characterizations and the way the stories play out is very important. So like, when I loved Magic the most as far as story goes was during Invasion, Planeshift, Apocalypse, and through the entire, which is funny, the entire Wrath cycle of the Weatherlight Saga is basically what it's called now, of Magic, where it was this entire world event of Phyrexians versus everybody, and it went on for 5 years worth of sets, 6 years worth of sets, and there were books, there were eventually comics, there's a whole lot of just everything that tied it all together, and it was really a compelling story. And I think that kind of draw in is super relevant. I would love to see that, like, this type of thing, this type of lore collected someday, in some shape or form, that's purchasable.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the most, when I was invested in Magic's story, was when they were doing the full block sets. Like, I remember reading the Mirrodin stuff. I loved the original Kamigawa books with Toshi as the main protagonist. Turned out that worked out really well for me, because I was like a huge Toshi fan after reading the books. And so then when him and his Jeet came out, I bought up as many copies as I could. And it turns out Umezawa's Jeet worked out pretty well for me.
Yeah, sure did. That was, so it was funny, because just, again, we're just going to go off the rails for about a hot second here, but there were pre-cons back in those days of Magic, and one of them was called the Ratcatcher pre-con that just had Umezawa's Jite in it. At the time, I worked at GameStop, and little known fact about GameStop's that they carried these pre-con Magic decks. Also, little known fact, any non-video game purchase from GameStop, you got 30% off. So I just went to all the GameStops and then bought all the Ratcatcher decks for 30% off and just sold the GTAs out of them.
Yeah.
And made a good amount of money fairly quickly. So that was just one of the funny little pieces of I guess that was like my earliest forte into any sort of TCG card game finance shenanigans. There's been many since, but that was probably the first time that I tried something like that, and it worked out. It was great.
That one worked out really well for me. The other one where there was a big explosion was during Ravnica block. Life from the Loam was like in everybody's dollar binders, and I was looking at that card and I was like, oh my god, like this card is so good, like I don't understand. So I was just grabbing them left and right. I probably had 50 or 60 Life from the Loams, and then a big tournament hit and they spiked. They weren't even at their highest yet, but they spiked from like the dollar binders to like $10 or something, and I still like made a killing.
Take a 10x.
Like,
just take a 10x.
Casual like $500 I made just because I believed in the card.
Yeah.
Eternal Witness was the other one from that set. I remember telling my buddy Adam, I was
that
like,
was Fifth Dawn.
Well, right, but I just remember when that card came out, I was like, dude, this card is busted. Like you can flicker it, you can bounce it. It's way better than like Regrowth ever was, and that card always saw play. Like you need, and he was like, I don't know, man. I think that 2 green is really gonna hurt it. And I was like, all right. So I bought it was an uncommon, so they were cheap, like less than $1. I bought up so many, and when they spiked to like $5 the first time, I sold out.
Just
right,
ship them.
Like old MTG finance. I don't like doing it now. In fact, it's my least favorite thing to do with card games. Period. Now I hate chasing and selling and whatever.
Oh no, I just invest and hold anymore.
Yeah. Like I want to play the game, right? Like I want the things that I want, and I don't want to have to like hunt for it, right? But there was a time in my life where cardboard was my crypto, right? Like I was
the same way.
The same annoying dumb crypto shit that you hear people say, like that was me, but with cardboard. I was like, man, like you need to get on this Eternal Witness train, like now.
Yep,
you need to get on down and dirty, man. Like
Jesus. Oh, poor Mikey Tark. But yeah, no, you're right. I've got a few different instances of things that I was just like, okay, I think I got to play here, and I went at it, and turns out it was something, right? Like it was a get a little bit lucky, make a good call, and then ship out for anywhere from 10 to 30x, right? And it felt great every time. But that's the old days. I don't know that that's really even a possibility as much anymore, except for these little hedges here and there. We did get to see, I guess I forgot to put this in the show notes, but I did want to go over this. We did get to see, and I don't think we talked about it last week, but maybe we did, the other cold foils from the judge packets.
Oh, right. I don't think we mentioned it last week, now that you've brought it up, but we do know what they are now.
Yeah, because the Arclight Sentinel one is absolutely insane. The cash-in one is
cool.
Yeah, is really cool. Obviously, there's the pummel, which
the pummel's gonna kill me.
Yeah, my condolences to your wallet.
I just want one, but I know it's gonna cost me.
No, you need 3.
I know I need 3, but right now I'm trying to stem my bleeding by just telling myself I need 1 of all of like my stuff. It's what I do with the assassin stuff.
3.
I know, but I'm starting with 1. Okay, I know. Is what I did with the assassin marvels, right? Like all of the codexes. I was like, I just want 1 of each for now. I know I need 3, but for now I just need 1. And so that's what I'm telling myself for now with the pummel, is I just need 1. It'll eventually be 3, but I
need 2 for Blitz, so maybe I get a second one. And then there was also, the last one was a Wounded Bull, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
So all of them playable, all of them fairly cool. I do really want the cash-ins for Shiana Money Pile, because playing cash-in Shiana is a ton of fun. I like drawing cards, and now that I have all these cards that say Unity on them, I want more cards. So more cards, please.
Wounded Bull. I just double checked the website because I knew that they had posted them there now.
And I feel like if there's an adult Kasai, it'll still be copper based, and so that's where cash in really shines, is in larger decks.
Listen, I know we were just talking about like hedging and whatever.
Did you say edging?
No, hedging, right?
Oh,
like
okay.
That idea of like,
I get it. I know I'm fucking with you.
I'm not in the interest of like giving out financial advice, but I will say, so I'm not going to name specific cards, but I will say if I was somebody that was trying to plan for the future on cards that I think will increase in value, I would be taking a long look at anything that I think gets value out of PvE. Now that we've seen,
absolutely,
set, we actually like get one. As long as that mode is good, like there is a chance that it ends up being more popular than the main game mode. Like
it's possible.
I think about what happens with like Magic and then kitchen table Magic, right? Like once Commander hit, all of the Commander stuff skyrocketed just because of demand, right? And so if PvE ends up being fun and it's like the quote unquote kitchen table version of Flesh and Blood, and that's what people are playing a lot, they're gonna want to bling out their deck, right? Because they're just playing it at home and they want to feel good about their characters and whatever. So
everybody's deck starts with 2 Cokes of Commotion.
I'm just saying, like that's something I've been thinking about, and I do think there's a lot of ways that could go, but that's also why I don't want to like name specific cards.
I already did it.
Well, I know you did. I just mean like there are some that I think are potentially like sleepers to go up. I will say ones that are probably never going to skyrocket too much in price, but I would not be shocked if all of the money tokens are something that are used frequently, right? Like the entire
gold,
idea
silver,
of
copper.
Gold, silver, copper. You've got this party, you probably use it to like upgrade equipment or purchase things or whatever. Like it would not surprise me if that's like an intricate part of it. But I also don't think that those are be like the things that skyrocket.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. We are getting closer and closer and closer to the Salt Lake City Brawl weekend with kayfabe cards from the Realm. That is August 4th through 6th. Again, Blitz Super Armory Friday night at kayfabe if you're into that sort of thing. So Super Armories, if you're wondering what those are, they're just an armory that they give away the entire armory kit in one go. So especially if the August armory kit is anywhere close to the gas we're seeing in June and July, that's probably well worth doing. Then there's the Classic Constructed 5K on Saturday, followed by a Blitz Battle Hardened on Sunday. And then, far as I know, still the Speakeasy Party on Saturday night. The details are still TBD. I do believe that we are seeing, because there's a lot of good launching pads around Salt Lake City, that we're going to try to get to the moon. But, it's difficult. Building rockets in short amounts of time is just something that's only SpaceX can pull off. And then they explode in midair. What are you? Is this still TBD? Are you trying to get me?
No.
No,
I would never.
You would never, huh?
No,
not once.
No.
Prick. But also, we are going the 20K Realm Invitational weekend is going to be December 1st through 3rd in Columbus. That'll be at the Greater Columbus Convention Center, from what I understand. So we have a 20K invitational. It starts on Friday. If you are looking to see where you are on the points list, it is published on the Realms website. I'll try to make sure it's linked in the show notes, but no guarantees, because I forget things from time to time and it would not be intentional. There will be a 5K brawl on Saturday as well, and then a 2K blitz on Sunday. Those are subject to change because Keith's a madman, and it will the dollar amount won't go down. I can tell you that much. There's also rumors flying around of potentially some other properties holding events in the same space at the same time, also being hosted by the Realm. So keep your eyes open on some of that as well. If you are into other TCGs or gaming type of things, that is something I have been informed is a possibility, but nothing is set in stone. I was told that I could say it though, so there's that.
Yeah,
always a win. But yeah, again, and I know I have pressed very hard on this, and I just want to reiterate, it is well worth your time to make sure you qualify for the 20K. And also, it is well worth your time to make sure you're qualified for the 50K next year. I have said what I've said, but if you have any trust and veracity to what this show says, believe that. It's definitely something that you want to do. Let's move on to some listener questions. Some of these are, we only have 2, but one of them is super spicy, and I think we're going to get into trouble with it, which is why I really want to do it. But the first one won't. This is from Vintox, good friend Trevor. Outside of limited formats, yellow cards are almost unplayable, with the exception of limited use in light and cards that only come in yellow. Reds and blues have built-in min-max value and also been attached to ice and draconic. Fair. What do you think could be done to bring value to yellow cards, making them more playable? And what are your thoughts on linking yellow to lightning talent or go again or some other effect? Have at it.
Well, I think one, the lightning thing is already hinted at. Again, that's what I was kind of saying earlier, right? With the channel for the lightning talent being in the yellow color.
It's a shit card, though.
But I think that they can lean into it more. Specifically, I'm looking at the new Luminaris, right? Where you're paying 2 to give something with Herald go again. 2 just happens to be what you're paying for with a yellow card, right? Like, I think that without just outright saying like everything has to be a yellow or whatever, they're just going to like lean into the 2 cost thing quite a bit so that you can still kind of work around it. The problem, though, in my mind, is less so. This is actually something I've been thinking about for a while. So let me just let you know you're kind of going for a ride here. The reason that I think that we have an issue with yellow is actually because of Tunic. Now, hear me out. As somebody who's recently played a lot of Assassin, and I've been paying 2 for these dagger attacks, and as somebody who has also watched the meta kind of shrink and cut more blues to be more efficient, I've been noticing that many of the times where you do still want blues, or you do, in the case of Assassin, usually still want a blue over a yellow, is because a blue means that once every 4 turns, that becomes 2 dagger attacks instead of 1 because of Tunic. Like, that's what it comes down to. The +1 resource from Tunic means that you're still, more often than not losing a ton of value by just going with a blue over a yellow, where you're gaining value in those niche scenarios. So, as weird as it sounds, I actually think that Tunic is as much of the problem for why yellows aren't included as not. I do think that we have seen yellows still shine in the past due to certain breakpoints. So specifically the yellows that have 6 attack value, because that matters. I'm thinking like Starvo during the Prism matchups, and we started seeing some of those yellow Earth cards see play. But ultimately, I think that making folks pay 2 for go again as more of a standard going forward. Obviously, the stuff that already exists, it's in print, you can't take that back, but I would be fine with them actually toning down some of the power level and kind of attributing pay 2 for go again as a bit of a standard going forward. I'd be fine with that, and then just go from there. But I do think that Tunic is going to be problematic in those scenarios, because anytime I can pay 2 for something, if it's something I can do more than once, whether that's 2 dagger attacks, 2 go agains, whatever, then that means a blue is the same as doing that twice, X number of turns, right? That's, I don't know. I've been thinking about this a lot with the assassin stuff, though, because I kept asking myself, like, if I'm not worried about the wizards, then why am I still running blues? And the answer was, well, every so often, that's 2 dagger attacks instead of 1.
Yep. And that makes sense. I think that's a little narrow, but if you start working on a more broad applicability of reasoning, then you start arriving at that, right? the think about Phi, where or even more so think about about Katsu. Think of any of the ninjas where a blue 0 means Kadachi, and pay for a thing, and a yellow would just be Kadachi. You may need to pay for if you have to pay 1 extra for a surging, that's a lot easier than paying 2 extra for a surging. That is a difference. That the economy is different, and that is never going to change. That there's no room for that to change. So you do have to kind of make yellows a niche. You point out something very, very fascinating, and that's you think of things like Great Library of Solana, right? With the new Luminaris, so you pitch a yellow to give your Herald go again. You pitch a yellow to play a Herald, a red Herald, and then another red Herald behind it with a library in play, and then you draw fucking up to 5. So your min-maxing in that case is actually red to yellow, not red to blue.
Right.
But there's a card that pivots that, so you kind of have to build, I think that you have to build cards that care about yellows, and that's really the only way to do it. Or, as alluded to in the question, you just have cards that only come in yellow. Art of War, being
Bannerettes.
Well, I mean, we're talking about one of the most iconic cards and playable cards in all of Flesh and Blood, and you're talking about fucking Bannerettes. You're talking about a Motown
I'm
group.
talking about new editions, because we already know
New edition was not a Motown group.
I mean, you're right.
Just the Bannerettes.
My apologies, but the point was, this question meant like, what could we do in the future? So I was pointing toward stuff that represented future design, not busted design.
Not busted design. I feel I do feel like the only way to make I shouldn't say only, because they've really proved me wrong on design space a few times, but the most obvious way to make yellow relevant is to build out from it and make things that care about yellows being specific.
Well, so I was going to say, or you make things care more about the other cards being specific. So the other way that you can make yellows a lot more relevant is if you still want to kind of keep things the way they are, right? But you want to address what I call the tunic problem, where you want to get people considering using yellows for pitches instead of blues, then you make cards that hate blue cards, right? Like,
using the term hate there makes us susceptible to Flake's shenanigans. You really need to you can't talk about hating colors anymore, because you never know what fucking Flake's going to do with it.
The Na'vi had it coming. Just give us the unobtainium, all right? You can hate the blue cards.
I want to disagree with you, but they kind of did have it coming. They were kind of assholes. Now, you know what? I'm going to end that one there, because we're going to go into something far worse.
Genocide. Such a light topic for Father's Day.
Listen, the founding fathers were totally into genocide.
Yeah, today's founding Father's Day.
Yeah, founding Father's Day is, like I said, they're totally into genocide. Like, that's their fucking favorite thing to do is genocide. The last listener question is from the legend, listed in our Discord currently as Rhodeezy, also known as Rhodey, also known as Rhodey's Nuts. But if something's coming from Rhodey, you already know you're fucking in for it. That's just Rhodey. Like, end of story. His question was just simply the best fab ships ? Now, he didn't end there, because the man is incapable of ending there. So his next statement is, let me poison the pool to get the juices flowing. Rhino X Dory, the hate fuck would be off the chain. Okay. Valda X Vincent, the Dami Mommy found her masochist. Prism X Shiana, so Prism can go fuck herself. Yep. Kano X Dash, because Kano comes quick, and who else better to boost out the nut? Okay. Now that we have gone through those, Charmer, do you have any fab ships?
I do actually. Yeah, I think it's actually Chain and Prism.
Okay. And just hooking up in a Hot Topic dressing room.
No,
Like,
I
where are we
think
going with this?
no. Here's the thing: Chain is the incel that has a big crush on Prism, and any hope of actually landing her is really just an illusion. That's why she's an illusionist. And the reason I believe this is because her entire gimmick is about having a soul, and his entire gimmick is about trying to shackle souls, but he can't get the job done. So,
Wow, we're stretching hard on that one. I think it's Draw My Icelander. I think we have a little bit of an odd couple complex that goes on there.
Yeah. I was actually, the other one that came to mind for me was the Emperor and Arachne.
Oh man, you think it was a lover's quarrel? That's why he got offed?
No, I just think that they get offed often.
Emperors, you mean?
Yeah. This is just their like snuff cosplay fantasy.
And then Yoji accidentally showed up, and then that's where things got out of hand, and they couldn't. Arachne didn't hear the safe word, and stabby and bleedy, right?
Yeah, something like that.
There we go. I think that's good. Vincent Azuri is another one because Azuri wants to stab. Vincent wants to be stabbed.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think that's a pretty good one. And Azalea just off in a corner by herself. I think that's where Azalea goes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about like non-joke ones though. Like if we were ever going to,
there's one really good joke one I think still that's out there, and that's Guinness What You Need and Data Doll, because he 100% looks like the type of dude that'd be carrying around a fuck toy robot.
Yeah, but I think he'd be like selling it. I don't
eventually after he was done with it.
Yeah,
The real question is, would he clean it?
I don't think that's his type.
I mean, basically, Data Doll is just a giant fleshlight, so whatever.
Right.
So let's do you have a serious one?
Well, I mean, I was legitimately trying to think through like lore wise who would spend enough time with each other
Bravo.
to develop a relationship. Dory Bravo does come to mind. But also like Bravo's kind of like the weird one just because he travels a bunch, and so really like you could also say the same thing about like Bravo Briar.
I think it's Briar Lexi, honestly. I think that those two are probably they're the Chandra Nissa of Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, I mean I could see that as well. Yeah, I mean that's ultimately I think what it comes down to for me is it would have to be characters lore wise that spend enough time near each other to like develop the romantic connection to begin with.
Sure. I guess it could be Azalea Lena Bell.
So I was going to say it's either something like that or hear me out. Phi and Dromai are the Lannisters of Flesh and Blood.
Oof.
They've already got the dragon theme going, so maybe they're the Targaryens of Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, and big ick, but yeah, that definitely tracks. Yikes, big yikes. Okay, well,
this one,
I'm
this
sober now.
Show. Yeah, this was off the rails.
All right, I guess. Oh fuck me. No, didn't mean that. Did not mean that. Flake. Do not. Cheers. Let's get out of here. What do you say?
I think that's a good idea.
That's probably a good idea. We're going to do a little bit of Patreon shout out right now to our associate producers, Andy, Kenny, and May, and then also our executive producers on up, C-Dubs, Josh, Lance Goodthrust, who has probably enjoyed this ship segment more than any human being reasonably should. Matt 2Ts, Popo Mike, Alex, Ed, Philip, Rich, Taylor, and Trevor. If you are interested in joining the Patreon, please go to patreon.com/fleshandpod. The link will be in the show notes. We have, I don't fucking know, some number of tiers. It's a number that you can choose from. They all have it all spelled out and shit. Philip and Ed, please hold my feet to the fire to make sure I get your playmats out to you. Harass me. Please harass me so I get that done, because I am slacking. I've also just been insanely busy, but I would like to get those out to you. So if you do not hear from me that you've received them and you're listening to the show, please then tell me that you have not received them, so I feel like an asshole and we'll send them out. If you want to contact the show, you can find us on Twitter at FleshPod. You can send us an email at fleshandpod@gmail.com. You can come into the Discord and just trash us endlessly like some people do. You can do any of these things. You can join the Patreon just to message us on Patreon. That is also an option. I think it's a great option. I think you should do that. Charmer, where can they find you specifically?
I'm going back to the beach.
Really?
You can you can find me on Lake Michigan, or I don't know, maybe Lake Huron. I might go to that side of the state.
Are those like nice beaches?
Yeah. Do you know where to go? Yeah.
I mean, sure. I can
they
are the Great Lakes.
I can take you to some nice Lake Michigan beaches when you come to visit, but
all right.
Nonetheless, you can find me on Twitter as That Charmer. I'm Charmer on Twitch, Charmer on YouTube, and I'm in the Flesh and Pod Discord, being a chucklehead, or genuine smuckers, if you will.
Motherfucking smuckers.
And yeah, I'm easy to track down if you want to, I guess, but I don't know why you would want to.
Maybe they just want some of those beach vibes from you.
That's fair.
Get a little bit of that vibe going. Personally, you can find me on Twitter at Logan Peterson. I usually just am shit posting and not much else anymore. The basketball is getting the basketball season just ended, but yet somehow is remaining interesting, which okay. And then baseball's going on, which is another kind of big thing for me. I do love baseball. Also a friend of the podcast, and Carolina Alvarado is a huge baseball fan, so please engage her at every point in time. She is very knowledgeable about baseball.
You would be proud. I sent Jordan a baseball themed text recently.
Was it a dick pic?
Kind of. I'll text you.
Okay, that sounds great. Wait. You see, I feel horrible now because I feel like anything that I say on this show could get flaked. And it almost makes me want to start watching what I say. But I also know that I do not have the ability to filter what I say. So I am up shit creek without a paddle when it comes to this. So I just know I'm going to be the object of ridicule several times, and that's okay. You can also find me in the Discord. My DMs are open to anybody I share a server with, so feel free to hit me up. And then you can find me on a soon to be released Alpha Clash podcast with Charmer. That's all getting worked on. Okay, he sent it to me. I gotta look because I can't not. Beautiful. No notes. That definitely, yeah, he is playing. You're correct. It is kind of like a dick pic. Okay, so yeah, you can
join our Discord. That's what you should do. Join our Discord.
That's what you should do. Join the Discord.
Logan is gonna post what I sent him in the Discord.
Most likely true. And then, but yes, they'll be starting up a new Alpha Clash podcast here soon. Probably recording it. Maybe increase the production values from what this show is. I don't know. You can also find Charmer on Wampa Radio.
This is
talk
true.
about Wampa Radio a little bit?
I mean, I guess so, but this is hashtag no free ads. But yeah,
yeah, but you're investing
Flake,
your time into this, so
Flake and I are massive Star Wars fans. We're massive card game fans, and the moment we heard that there was a Star Wars card game coming out, in this case, it's called Star Wars Unlimited. It's going to be made by Fantasy Flight Games. We said, hey, we need to do something for this because we need an outlet for us being us. And so we have started a podcast. It's called Wampa Radio. It's on most of the podcasting apps. It's definitely on YouTube as well. We are 2 episodes in thus far, and I'm already having a blast. So
perfect. Way to get that plug in there. Also, please make sure you're reading the Possum Papers. I know I keep bringing it up, but that's because it is a well-written blog every week.
Possum this week just to promote that.
Just to promote the papers, man. Just to promote the papers. Link to the Possum Papers will also be in the show notes. Then I don't think I have a whole lot else. There's probably something I'm forgetting, but whatever. I'm over it. We are getting closer and closer as, you know, time works to our 100th episode. I don't know what we're going to do for that yet, but it's probably going to be something special, right? Or should I do it for 99 just to fuck with people?
Or both.
Yeah, porque no los dos. So, yeah, I guess that's all I have for this week. So, you know, because we don't miss, we will talk to y'all next week. Bye. For real.